I'd like to welcome you all again here to Vienna as well for our 14th Pan-European Conference and our 25th anniversary of our organization, Europa Donna. There are over 200 of you here from 44 different countries, so we are thrilled that everyone could come to this absolutely beautiful city to celebrate this anniversary with us. And we're going to spend the first half an hour, I would say, talking a little bit about the background of Europa Donna and the founding and the years up to now with some highlights over the past few years. So it's my great pleasure to introduce someone who needs no introduction, the CEO of the European School of Oncology and the editor of Cancer World, a noted breast surgeon, a director of several specialist breast units, both in Milan and in Switzerland, a man who has been a supporter of Europa Donna for all of these years, who also served on the faculty of our advocacy training course for probably 15 or 16 of those years. So he was instrumental in the founding of Europa Donna as well. So Alberto Costa has come here today to talk to us about the founding and the early years of Europa Donna. Alberto.
Susan, don't make me crying, you know, and I start getting, buongiorno. It's a great celebration, and for me it's an incredible satisfaction. You know, when they say, you talk about, you see an old friend and you ask, how are your children? And they say, oh, my children is now a pilot, or my daughter is an engineer, and you realize that 25, what do you mean 25 years of Europa Donna? It's difficult to realize because these years have gone very quickly. And people ask me why it's called Europa Donna in Italian. Even in Kazakhstan, it's called Europa Donna. Why? And this is it. This is the story. In fairness, exceptionally, the idea came to a man. Umberto was always apologizing for not being a woman. He was always starting, you remember, he said, first of all, I apologize for not being a woman. And then he was declared honorary woman by an association in Rome. And then they also honored me a few years later. So we both got honorary menopausal, honorary hot flashes, and we have done everything. We both have gone through this. But in fairness, was Umberto came back in '91 from the States, shocked, because he had seen the famous campaign. It was called the postcard campaign. I don't remember, Emmy Langer, probably somebody at the time, raised the issue of the scandal of the money put in the Pentagon budget, in the Army budget, compared to the money put in breast cancer research. And she launched the campaign and said, if you disagree with this, send a postcard to the Congress in Washington. And if you go and check, you will see that this was an incredible event because the Congress received 500,000 postcards. And this was the beginning of the end for the general of the Pentagon because the Congress voted to give a percentage, small, but the budget is big, of a small percentage of the Pentagon budget to breast cancer research. And still, you can find in the world researchers and clinicians working and receiving every year the grant announcement on the stationery of the Pentagon. Umberto came back and said, Jesus, but these women have done in 6 months what we didn't manage to do in 20 years. And of course, all the staff of his office say, if you want something to be done, give it to a woman, because you're not doing this. And he started to explain to us the concept of advocacy, the idea of fighting, which was totally new. The American initiative, the initiative of American women was unheard in Europe in those years. So he first had the trouble of convincing our board, the board of the European School of Oncology. Can I have the next slide, maybe, so we can have the, or should I do, next, okay. No, the Gloria came later. No, well, then we stay with Umberto. Okay. It's not finished yet. So he went to the board and say, okay, I need a few million, but because there was no euro at the time, so million liras. So don't worry, we got a few million of Italian liras to invest in the brainstorming on how to organize, if and how organize an advocacy movement for breast cancer. And the board people say, oh, what's the story? The women get already a lot. But he managed to convince. We had a meeting in Venice. Nicole Zernick's mother was there, mom, Nicole, and I remember many others. And we started this. Umberto explained the idea. People came from different leagues. The leagues were against the concept of a specific organ site campaign. Say, why breast cancer and not colon, and why not thyroid? And so it was still not accepted, the idea of a campaign specific for breast. But then there were very active people, particularly Sabine von Kleist, that I remember very well, who said, this is right, we should continue. So she was our Merkel, you know, when the Germans say this is right, you will do it or you will die. Okay. So Umberto said, okay. And then we launched, and we had the idea of launching a first conference without realizing, once again, that a conference on breast cancer advocacy organized by men and doctors would be a flop. And in fact, nobody came. We went in Paris, announcing, putting a lot of money, great conference, the future of breast cancer, President Umberto Veronesi, blah, blah. Nobody came. Because this was the second lesson. We had to learn that there was the need for a switch. The doctors, and men of course, used always to control things, couldn't control un bel niente, as we say, so nothing at all, because this was something that had to go in the hands of women. So we only had 10 participants to the conference, but luckily, one of them was this one, Gloria Freilich. Never heard of her. So this is another important message. The birth of Europa Donna was not at all manipulated in any way. Was really spontaneous. Umberto Veronesi didn't know Gloria Freilich, and vice versa. Umberto was known because he started the conservative surgery, of course. He was known as a scientist, but not as a promoter of a movement. And it's incredible, because nowadays I don't know if we could do the same. It was only private donation money, no sponsor, no pharma, no marketing, no nothing. There were 2 donors who gave us the money to start, and it was totally spontaneous. And Gloria came to this conference, one of the 10 participants, and then came to Veronesi, say, very good idea, Mr. Veronesi, but then you have to leave the room and let women do it. And this is what started. So we went with the school, we went to this first conference in '94, established, and then and I finished, the issue of the name. I was very young, 25 years ago, and I was assistant to Umberto, and of course he said, oh, you have to sort out this, go and think what could be the name. I was with Elena Scafidi, that some of you may remember, and we started. And of course, the recurring words were always Europa and Donna. Europa, because 25 years ago was a magic moment. There was the European Journal of Cancer in London, EORTC in Brussels, ESMO, ECHO. Everything was European at the time in oncology. And Donna, because it's Donna. But we didn't know how to combine the two words. I had that in mind. I grown up in a family with 7 women. I was the only one. And I am also born after the war, and they were saying Mussolini and Hitler and Stalin, they were all men. If we had women running, we wouldn't not have the war. Jesus, so I was used to that, and I was thinking on how to combine Europa is also a feminine word, and it's something that we love. Look how difficult it is to do Brexit. They keep saying, but they don't go. Do you really want to leave Europe? It's 3 years. It's like an affair. They say, oh, no, basta, I have to go. Can we see each other again? Can we have dinner? So Europa e Donna, it's really the top, what you can do without. I was at the Race for the Cure in Athens, and it came spontaneously because the minister said, oh, a week ago there were 1 million people running for the planet, to save the planet. And somebody said, why, if you don't save women, there is no point to save the planet. because a planet without women, we're not interested. So I went and I report and I say, listen, the two words are Europe and woman, Europa Donna in Italian, and we don't know how to combine. And again was Sabine. I'm nearly convinced it was Sabine to say, that's it. Everybody understands Europa. We pronounce Europa. Someone else will pronounce Europa, but it's Europa. And Donna, Donna. So this is why it's called, and you have this name. And sorry for this intrusion. I think we went to the Constitution, in 96. Yeah. So Gloria and Sabine, and then they appointed you.
In 1998.
In 98.
After your slides.
After my slides. So now it's up to you to continue. So thank you very much. It was an incredible experience for me. It was a great honor. And best wishes for the next 25 years.